Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to discuss about the IMAP protocol, how to configure it on the secure channel using port 993, and what are the things that we need in order to achieve a secure or the authenticated uh, IMAP connectivity with the Exchange server. So first thing we need is the SSL certificate. Though I don't have the SSL certificate, but for the purpose of this video I can use a SAN name certificate which has been created by the Exchange server itself. So that's a self-signed certificate in which I have the IMAP namespace that we are going to use while we set up the IMAP profile. So right now I have two Exchange certificate, out of which I have this one, the self-signed certificate, which is created on the Exchange server itself, that also has the IMAP namespace, but the IMAP service is not assigned to this service at the moment. So we are going to set up the IMAP profile, and we'll also use this FQDN or namespace that we have for IMAP. So since I have already done 3 videos on and we have configured 3 videos for POP as well as the IMAP using the console, this is the video that I'm going to configure the profile, the IMAP profile, using the shell, the PowerShell. So to play with the IMAP settings on the Exchange server, we have this command. If we add pipefl with the IMAP setting command, we'll have all the settings listed over here, and then out of which we'll have to configure some of the properties out of these. So as we can see here, we do not have the IMAP service assigned to this certificate that has the IMAP FQDN. We are going to first set the assign the service to this certificate so that we can easily configure the IMAP profile. So in order to do that, you need to go to the server configuration and select the server, and in this action pane we have all the certificates that this server has. So to assign service to this certificate, we can right click and go to assign services and then check the service, the desired service. Now the IMAP service has been assigned to this certificate, and if you go back here in the shell and again run the command, we'll have the IMAP service assigned. Now it is time to play with some IMAP settings on the Exchange server. So first of all, we need to take the output, what are the current settings for IMAP. Currently the certificate that is being used by the IMAP service is the exact service certificate we are going to use, but the login type set over here is plain text login. So in our situation we are going to use secure logon. secure login, and since we are doing it internally, we don't have to make any other changes. But in the DNS, we need to make sure that we have a record. This is for imap.domain.com, and that should resolve to the Exchange server. So that's the DNS management console I have, but I don't have any record created for IMAP URL or the FQDN. I'll just create a record and I will point it to the Exchange server. So to verify if it worked for us, like creating the record, it worked for us, or the IMAP is resolving to the proper name or the IP address, we can, after creating the A record, we can just simply ping that name and see if it does resolve to the IP address we want. So we have just confirmed that it does. So now that that has been set, let's go back to the IMAP settings and try to configure or set up the IMAP from server side, and then try to connect the client. While we assign the login type, we can assign this value in two ways. Either we can type the complete word secure login, or we can just enter this number 3, which eventually resolves to the if you enter login type 3, that means you are trying to set up the secure login. So I'll just hit enter on this, and then after it is set, we'll go ahead and restart the IMAP service. So I've just ran this command to set the login type using number 3, and you guys can see the result. It is set to the secure login option. Now we have the X500 certificate name set, we have the logon method set, and we also have a certificate on Exchange server that has the imap.tailspintoys.com FQDN mentioned. So let's go to the client and try to configure the profile now. Let me pick up a user. I'll pick this one up for today's profile configuration, Connie Goodrum. That's not the correct certificate we want to install, so I'm going to skip that for now, and we'll have a look why that's being picked up. Let's see if we are able to log into the server, and that's not correct. So we'll set it up later. For now, just now I've set the internal connection settings. So earlier it was the server's FQDN that might be the reason it was picking up the self sign, the other certificate that does not have the imap.tailspintoys.com FQDN. So I've just set it in the internal connection settings option on IMAP. Let's now give it a try and try to connect it, or let's just remove the profile and try to recreate it. Changes did not take effect because we did not restart the IMAP service. Now that I have restart the IMAP service, it took the correct certificate that we were looking for. So we can go ahead and add the certificate. So everything from the server side has been set up now, and we are directing the IMAP service to use this particular certificate for authentication. Login method has been set on the IMAP is secure login. So since this is the lab environment, I'm although I'm doing the SSL authentication for the incoming mail server, yet I'm not doing the SSL for the outbound because I don't have the SSL certificate. So I'll just configure this profile and see how this goes. So that was without any warning though, and the connection has been established using the namespace we had specified in the internal connection settings Also, the type of the connection is secure logon. So everything is happening. The downloading part is happening on the SSL, uh, but the sending part will be happening through the TLS. Let's do a quick test. Just sending this email. I've received that email. I'll just quickly verify if the administrator also has received that email. I've just logged into the administrator's mailbox on in the OWA. I just want to confirm if the message sent by the Imap user has been received. Oops. So that's what I wanted to see, if the email has been delivered. So guys, this was all about how do we configure the IMAP profile on secure channel using port 993, and that's all for today's video. I hope you guys have learned how to configure the IMAP profile in simple manner, in a simple way, and if you would have got an SSL certificate, it would have been very good, but since we did not have it, we managed to configure it using the SAN name certificate created by the Exchange server itself. So if you guys have any comments, any feedback, any suggestions, do let me know in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and share it. That's all for today.